Welcome to the video and of the 15 strangest natural phenomena in the world. Let's go to number 15, Pink Lake.
Well, feast your eyes on the dazzling hues of
Wow.
Lake Hillier, a pink-colored saline lake located on Middle Island in Western Australia.
Is that for
The
real?
largest archipelago of the continent. Measuring 1,968 feet in length and around 820 feet in width, the bright pink lake is surrounded by a distinctive rim of sand and a dense woodland of eucalyptus tree.
That's beautiful.
A genus of tree that in itself is pretty incredible. The lake itself was first discovered by modern scientists back in 1802 after a navigator and cartographer named Matthew Finders stumbled upon the lake as he was surveying the coastline of Western Australia.
Is that even possible?
Although it seems that Lake Hillier may have been the subject of some terrifying industrial accident, incredibly, the circumstances that have created the lake's distinctive color are entirely natural.
Wow.
In fact, the lake gets its pink color from organisms within its water what produce a distinctive pink colored dye, which then reacts with a red halolytic bacteria found in the lake's salt crust.
Wait, things live in there?
No wonder it's super pink.
There's
While Lake
live?
Hillier has an incredibly high level of salt content, it's entirely safe to swim in the lake with no risk of being turned into some kind of toxic salt monster.
Well, is there anything living in there? That's my question. Number 14, permafrost explosions.
A polar region that's been subjected to countless unexplained explosions across one of the most remote landscapes on the planet.
Whoa.
Since around
Look at
2010,
that.
on a remote peninsula in the Russian Arctic Circle, enormous wounds have been ominously appearing in the permafrost,
It's like a crater.
appearing suddenly and explosively, leaving behind a ravaged landscape. Many of the holes, which measure over 70 feet wide and often 200 feet deep, are only discovered when scientists are surveying the area. And given the fact that the Siberian region is so fast and difficult to navigate, researchers aren't entirely sure how many of these enormous holes there currently are. Even more worrisome, the exact cause of these gigantic wounds in the permafrost remains to be somewhat of a riddle. What is clear is the fact that these holes aren't forming from some gradual subsidence as the permafrost melts, which is often the case in other Arctic geological anomalies. Instead, these huge holes explode into existence and are the result of a colossal natural force created by a very high amount of pressure. The leading consensus is that the natural phenomena may be caused by huge amounts of methane building up beneath the surface, suggesting that the explosive gas may be seeping up from deep within the Earth's crust.
It seems like
Whatever
it's
the case, these Siberian explosions continue to happen, and scientists aren't sure whether they're the beginning of something far more dangerous.
Oh, that was really interesting. Number 13, ant mills. Let's see what's going on with these little guys.
Ants are mesmerizing creatures, and if you've ever studied the efficiency intricacies of an ant colony, you'll know that these tiny insects are some of the most hard-working creatures on planet Earth. From queen to soldier to worker ant.
Oh wow,
every single member of an ant society plays an integral role in upholding their colony. And so it makes one of the most depressing events in nature even more difficult to swallow, when an ant civilization suddenly descends into a complete and utter collapse without warning. In what is known as a death spiral, Mother Nature's creepiest metaphor seemingly only occurs in army ants, which unlike other kinds of ants do not make a permanent nest for their colony, instead choosing to be always on the move while they're alive. While there are over 200 varieties of army ant, the vast majority of them are blind, and they typically follow the scent trails of other ants before them in order to navigate.
Blind?
However, if one of those ants becomes misdirected, it can create a chain reaction that causes the entire colony to march in a spiral, aimlessly descending into chaos before starving to death.
They're blind?
Yikes.
They're blind? That's crazy how they're blind. They can work together. Number 12, dragon blood tree.
While it may appear like something from the surface of an alien world, the dragon blood tree of Socotra is actually one of Earth's most astonishing examples of unique flora diversity, found exclusively on the island of Socotra in Yemen. This truly remarkable species lives within the remnants of a prehistoric environment.
Oh, look at those trees.
After the island of Socotra was separated from mainland Arabia over 34 million years ago. You see, because of its severance from the mainland, nearly half of its plant species are found nowhere else on Earth. As an incredibly important economic resource to the people of Yemen, this remarkable tree takes its name from the red resin found beneath its bark, which was culturally traded by the ancient people of Yemen as cinnabar or dragon's blood.
I wonder what it's like.
A distinctive red dye found nowhere else on Earth.
That's a beautiful looking tree though. Huh, that's quite interesting. Number 11, Salasandrum maelstrom.
Well, technically not a whirlwind, but instead a whirlpool. Take a look at the Sauströmmen
Whoa,
Maelstrom,
look at
officially the
that.
world's strongest whirlpool, located in the waters of Bodo, Norway, which has been spinning for thousands of years,
Oh, that's
endlessly
crazy.
turning anything that comes close to the
I'm
Scandinavian
a little
waters.
worried about that boat there.
Located deep within a narrow channel of water, it's officially the strongest tidal current in the world, churning up to 400 million cubic tons of seawater through a channel
at
just
that.
492
How smooth it
feet
was on
wide
one
every
side
6 hours. In
and
fact, the sheer force
twirling
created
on the
here
other side.
causes
Look at
water
that.
speeds to reach over 25 miles per hour, making it virtually impossible to navigate through when flowing at its strongest. Yet, while it's impressive, this is definitely one place that you wouldn't want to take a dip.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I'm worried about that boat going through there. Number 10, Catfish Stampede.
I guess that doesn't stop them from trying.
Oh.
Just take a look at how many catfish are sitting here at the edge of this lake, each nudging forward and climbing on top of one another. I guess that's why they called it a stampede. Are they being fed? Are they trying to escape? You can only find something like this in India, as they've the only lakes populated with such large numbers of fish. The catfish are of the same variety you can find worldwide. They aren't anything special. However, what is noteworthy is that the lake these catfish reside in are man-made, created to mass-produce the catfish. That's right, folks. These massive lakes found in the Thar Desert are basically incubators where catfish spawn in insane numbers. Don't blame humans too harshly. The entire world is suffering from freshwater shortages, and these fish farms directly result from it. Without their creation, a large source of food for India would be severely diminished.
Ah, they love their catfish because there's so much of it. Oh,
human ingenuity will do whatever it can to ensure the survival and thriving of the human species. This is just one example of that genius being utilized.
Interesting. Well, hey, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe and smash that bell and then smash that like button. Alright, let's go to the next video, number 9, Lake Natron.
Nuzzled between serene, rolling hills and mountain terrain lies Lake Natron, a lake so notorious it's credited with turning the creatures that live in it to stone. In terms of storytelling, this is a location where the villain would be hiding beneath the lake that keeps them protected and from prying eyes. The truth of the lake is far less dramatic, though. This lake has such a massively dense salt concentration that it's literally petrifying the animals that live there. To this day, the lake is host to a plethora of ghastly calcified animals.
No way.
Basically, if it swims in the lake, there's a calcified version of it in the lake.
Oh my goodness.
How does a high salt content equate to petrification?
That's death
it starts with
for an animal right there.
A salt lake is a lake where waters flow in but has no way to escape. The only way for it to get rid of the overabundant water is through the natural process of evaporation. Earning its name, the lake is also dense with the chemical natron, sometimes reaching a whopping pH level of up to 10.5. That's right next to ammonia. As these chemicals evaporate, if any unfortunate animals are swimming around, they could die on the spot and memorialize the spot with a calcified version of itself as a headstone.
What could live inside of there?
However, one fish species does thrive in this lake, named the Alcolapia ladalabris.
You're kidding me, right?
It feeds off the algae that lines anything that stays in the water for too long.
Wow, that was really, really interesting. Number 8, Green Sand Beach.
The most common location is in Hawaii, on the Big Island. Just an hour away from the rainforest,
that looks
you can
like
find
so
one
much
of the
fun.
most unique beaches in the world. From the incredible landscape that Hawaii offers, you also get to see green sand, which very few people in the world can say that they've done.
That's really interesting.
As with all unique geographical places like this, the green sand comes from something that can only be found in these areas. It takes a particular rare type of volcanic eruption with a specific type of mineral. If these circumstances have been met, the lava forms
volcanoes,
olivine crystals and carries them all the way down to the shore. When the crystals hit the water, they shatter into tiny pieces. Those tiny pieces are what we call sand. All sand is created in a similar process. And if you don't like sand, you can still enjoy the majestic view and spectacular swimming that Hawaii does provide. Just pretend the sand is gold.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay. 7, penitentes.
On very high altitudes, such as those in the Andes, snow grows into spectacular blades of ice up to 9 meters high. These are known as rare penitentes. They take the form of tall ice spikes and are closely spaced.
Icicles,
it's like
icicles
a wall of
on the
ice
ground.
on top of a mountain. These beautiful sculptures of ice are rarely seen by humans. They won't grow on any altitudes below 4,000 feet. Unless you're a mountain climber, these little beauties are far from human reach. In
Oh
1839,
wow, that's really
Darwin
interesting.
made a trip across the frozen Andes. He saw them firsthand and claims the majestic peaks were formed by the whipping winds coming off the mountain and pushing snow up. An exciting and historical phenomenon, to say the least.
Oh, that's really interesting in the mountains. Number 6, let's go to swarming Cuban land crabs. This is
Playa
interesting.
Larga in Cuba is home to a very unusual phenomenon, and a regular one at that.
Oh.
It all begins when Cuba's dry season ends.
I've seen
In the
this before.
surrounding areas and within the soggy forest of the Zapata swamp, the new spring rain awakens.
Look at those little guys
As rain
going
falls
through
from the
across
sky
the street
along
together.
Cuba's southern coast, strange creatures awaken and begin to stir.
Oh, they're being destroyed.
The
Oh,
land crabs that live there have
How dare
finished
that
mating
truck.
for the season, and the rain is a sign the red, yellow, and black female crabs will soon leave their underground burrows. Doesn't sound that unusual, does it? The reality is, however, that they emerge by the millions.
yeah, it looks
The
like
sand
tons.
is
But look at this
literally
guy.
crawling,
Look at this guy having a
and
good
it's a
time.
real sight to behold. They rush out, crab walking towards the ocean, where they plan to deposit their fertilized eggs
Ah,
into the waiting ocean.
so this is
This
them
phenomenon plays an important role
mating
in
and
the
then
coastal ecosystem in Playa
getting their
Larga. With the
eggs,
migration
okay.
of the crabs into the ocean, other ocean creatures recognize the time of year. They gather in the area to feed off the newly introduced food source.
Ah, okay.
The unborn
So-
crabs don't have a hope. Sure is a tough world
Wow.
out there.
Every season they go through that going together. Number 5, the door to double
It's
H
hard to believe
double-
that a
HE
hell-like
double
place
hockey
can
stick?
exist here on Earth, but it does. This pit of doom looks like something you would see in a science fiction movie or
Is that
a latest
real?
video game. Located in the expansive Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan is a fire pit known throughout the world as the Gates to Hell.
Oh my goodness.
Roger that. You're looking good. How do you feel?
What's he
Not
doing?
only is its appearance terrifying, it is also incredibly fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
It is known to the locals as the Darvaza gas crater because it is located near the village of Darvaza, the home of just 350 residents. It's essentially a huge 230-foot wide hole that has been on fire for over 40 years. All
Wow.
attempts to put it out have failed, and it can still be seen glowing a fiery red for miles around. In 1971, a Soviet drilling mission went terribly wrong when a team of drillers struck a massive underground natural gas cavern.
Oh my
The
goodness,
natural
that's
gas
crazy.
cavern caused the ground to collapse, and the whole drilling rig fell through.
Oh, wow.
The gas released was evacuating the hole at an alarming rate. The poisonous and extremely flammable gas continued pumping into the atmosphere.
That's
The
interesting how there
drillers
could be
decided to
fire
burn
just
off
burning
the
all the
fumes
time.
so that they could return to work. They lit the gas in the hope that it would burn off within a few weeks.
Wow, that was really interesting. Okay, bioluminescent.
All you
Waves.
want is an amazing and unbelievable story, one that you can take home and share with your friends and family for many years to come. For an experienced traveler, witnessing bioluminescent waves and
Ooh.
caves can provide that
That's really
special
cool.
story.
Oh my goodness.
Bioluminescence is the production and emission of light by a living organism. It commonly occurs in marine vertebrates and invertebrates, but also in other microorganisms
Oh,
found throughout
that is
caves and
fascinating.
waterways.
With the lights.
An obvious example is that of the firefly. Although this phenomenon isn't specific to a certain area, which makes it hard to venture out and find, this bioluminescence is a sight that every traveler wants to witness at least one time in their life.
Wow, I would
These
love
creatures
to
that make light
experience
also
that.
include bacteria, plankton, worms, snails, fish, jellyfish, and even sharks. By producing a light blue or white light, these animals help illuminate the darkness.
Oh my goodness,
Photos
that
of
is
this
fascinating.
magical spectacle that bioluminescent
Hey, if
critters
you're
create
fascinated by
can be
this
taken in
one,
forests full of
comment below
fireflies,
what you think
caves
about this
populated by
lights,
glowworms, and
the natural
deserted
lights
island
that's coming into
shores.
these caves.
Many travelers plan to re-find the source of the light, making plans to visit these vacation spots annually.
That's really
One
neat.
common
Comment below
bioluminescent
which
spot
one
is Japan,
natural
where
phenomenon do you
thousands
find
of
most
bright
interesting
blue
so far?
firefly squids
Let me see your
surface,
comments and
illuminating
let's
the
get
shore.
a conversation
An
going.
incredible sight
Kinda
for the
interested in
lucky
what you think
traveler
as
to
well.
capture and remember.
Oh, that was awesome. All right, number 3, turquoise ice.
Russian photographer Alexei Trofimov sums up this strange natural phenomenon found on Earth well.
Where?
He calls Laka Baikal, located in Siberia,
Ah,
a gemstone
Siberia.
that does not need to be cut.
Oh, my.
Laka Baikal
Oh, that was,
is a
wow.
natural wonder on Earth. As it stands, it also holds a few notable records, namely being the deepest, largest, oldest, and clearest freshwater lake in the world. The phenomenon begins
It's like a
every
natural
winter
spring.
when
You
the
can
temperature of
literally
the
drink
area
that water.
plummets to well below zero. The crystal clear lake
Oh,
water forms a layer
that's
of
scary
ice.
right there.
The ice itself is considered gem-like and has a beautiful glimmer in the sun. The large shards of ice that form on the surface give off a turquoise-colored appearance when observed in the right light. The lake contains approximately 20% of the Earth's surface water and is believed to be over 25 million years old, which makes
Wow,
it a real tourist
look at that.
hotspot even without its apparent gemstone quality.
Oh, that's really cool to be able to go skating on that lake. All right, number 2, mysterious fairy circles. Let's
A
look at this
fairy
one.
circle is a circular patch of barren land. These circular patches vary in size between 2 and
Are these from
15
like
meters
aliens
in
or something,
diameter.
or where did this
They
come from?
typically occur in monospecific grassy vegetation where conditions are particularly arid. These fairy circles are only known to occur in the dry grasslands of the Namib Desert, and until 2014, they seem to only appear in the western parts.
Ah, wow. Dry and barren land. That's where it's coming from.
In 2014, however, ecologists
Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this
similar rays of
video.
vegetation
Would love to hear
outside
your
Africa
comments as
and
well.
parts of Pilbara in Western Australia. So, what created
Yeah,
this
you know, Western
phenomenon
Australia,
over
it seems like
hundreds
there's
of
not much
miles?
out
Was
there,
it
and you can see
aliens?
how barren
the
this
whole
is.
landscape appears to be covered with polka dots, as the patches of vegetation are dispersed throughout the land. They look otherworldly and can even be seen on Google Maps. Local
Wow.
legends suggest that these circles may have been created by the gods, leaving their footprints behind on
That's what I'm
Earth,
saying. I thought they
and
were
that
maybe
the random
aliens or
arrangement
something.
may not be random at all. Researchers have suggested that these circles occur because of the high soil compaction and the clay content in the soil.
Okay, it's the
These
atmosphere of
vegetation-free areas
Western
indicate
Australia.
that a fairy circle is formed by abiotic processes, mechanical weathering of the soil, and due to rain, extreme
Yeah,
heat,
there's a
and
major
evaporation.
science
Whatever the
factor.
reason,
It's a
they
natural
definitely look
phenomenon.
pretty cool, don't you think?
Obviously, it's not from aliens, but I'm just saying. Number 1, tidal bore wave. This is the
This
final one,
tidal
folks.
bore is a rare natural phenomenon, which only occurs on several rivers that empty into the Bay of Fundy. This bay is located in the Canadian province of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. The tidal bore is created when a large surge, which is so strong,
Tidal wave
temporarily
coming
reverses
in.
the flow of the river, casting a rush or wave of water.
Reminds me of a
upriver.
tsunami or something. I mean, that's pretty violent tidal wave
Another
right there.
tidal bore is known as the Pororoca.
Alright,
which is a tidal bore
these
that
guys
pushes
are
the water
thrill
with
seekers.
so much force that it creates waves of up to 13 feet high.
Oh.
These waves are capable of traveling as far as 500
Guys, you don't want to
miles
be
inland.
doing
This
surfing
tidal
in
bore
these tidal
brings
waves,
tourists
okay?
From throughout the
Like, let me
world
just say that
who wanna
right now.
test their surfing skills while also seeing the beauty of the Amazon and adjacent rivers. It's different from most,
Oh,
as it occurs
thrill
where
seeker.
the mouth of the river meets the Atlantic Ocean. Many who have surfed this stretch of water say it's like surfing an endless wave.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. No wonder they want to go there.
A spot for any surfer.
I don't
that's for
advise.
sure.
I don't advise people to do this. All right, so that concludes us. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. I would love to hear your comments. Let me see those comments, and let's have a conversation together. So talk to you later, and have a good one.